Oh. Okay.
I think it.
No, I think we're rolling. We are rolling.
Oh.
Yes.
Neato.
Fantastic. Hi everybody. Just give me a second to get all
Hello.
set up. So, it's gonna be a casual stream like normal, so you might hear my lovely husband, who's working next to me, occasionally, and or roommates,
All the time.
dogs, things. But we're just gonna hang out and chat. So, I'm just gonna get the link for the stream so I can share it with some friends in case they want to watch, and then pull up the comments section so I can see you guys if you're commenting without having to change tabs or anything. So just sit tight for a minute while I do that.
Do you upload these to YouTube after you're done, or?
Yeah, it's like I have it automatically set up to like save my streams so that I can upload them afterwards.
Nice.
Yeah. How do I? It really shouldn't be so hard to find myself on YouTube.
Could you just go to your account?
Well, no, because it doesn't, even when I search my name, it doesn't pull me up. It pulls up like more popular videos with similar names. But I think I can, did I favorite one of my videos? Because that would be a good way to do that. Sorry everybody, there's not a lot of drawing going on. Just hang tight for a few minutes.
Technical difficulties.
Please stand by. Okay. Uh, I just want to find it. Is there another way to do this? Can I like go to people that I'm subscribed to and find myself that way? Because that would be cool. Otherwise, I can't remember the other way that I can see chat. There's a viewer. Hi. I think unless it includes me. So it congruent viewers. Does that mean someone's watching? If you're watching, hello. See, because who?
Unless you're the viewer, yeah.
Yeah, it looks like there's someone here.
Oh, that's neat.
Please stand by. I will draw, hopefully soon.
Did you post in the Discord too?
No, because I can't get the link.
Well, can't you just go to your account and then find
No,
your videos
because
that
then
way?
I'd have to log off of this account, which I guess I can do. It's just connected to my... No, maybe...
I mean, once you sign out, it's
Oh, I can add an account? Oh, this is fantastic. All right.
careful with that.
Why?
That might not be the ad you think it's gonna do.
Okay, well,
I remember reading something. I could be completely wrong.
because it's add account or manage accounts on this device.
Oh, on the device.
So adding an account to my YouTube. This is my YouTube. This is YouTube settings on my phone.
Oh, via the app?
Yeah.
Oh,
so
okay.
if I
Never mind.
add another account, then that'll just add my other. Okay.
I thought
All right,
that was,
we're figuring it out, everybody.
I remember reading something once where the adding of it was it like linked accounts together somehow.
I do think, yeah, I do think I was worried about. I mean, obviously that's why I have my two accounts separated, is because I didn't want my personal YouTube and my streaming YouTube to be connected. So hopefully it doesn't do that. If it does, I guess I'll just live with it. But we'll see here.
Well, and you are after the time. I should say you're during the time that they required your Google account and YouTube account to be one and the same. A while back that they were completely separate, so they weren't linked together at all.
Yeah, I like that they're connected though. I mean, because I use Gmail.
It helps make it more seamless.
It's really nice. Well, it's also less passwords to remember. Like, as long as you can remember to get into your email, you know how to get into your YouTube. And then once you're logged into your YouTube or your email, you can just click YouTube or email and it'll just automatically open because you're already signed into Google. So I really like that
The
too.
only thing I don't like about it is that I don't use YouTube a lot, and then in the way that it saves my Google search history and all that junk, I'd rather just be like, if I'm logged into my email account, it's not touching anything else, you know?
All right, we'll see if it works. Oh my god, it worked. Okay, so can I go to my own stream now?
You should be
My
able to.
channel. Oh my god, I can. Okay.
So wait, did the view count increase? Oh, it dropped to 0.
You've left me. That's okay. Says there's one on my end, but that's again maybe me. Um, so now I just need to drop the link to this. How do I do this? Share. Copy link. Okay, here we go, everybody. My technical difficulties are almost solved. Just drop in the link real quick. And then we'll get into it. Ooh, 2 viewers. Hey, everybody. It says 2 on one of my devices, but 1 on the other. So that's cool. All right. So, we're drawing a little scene here. It's just a piece that I'm working on that I figured I would finish. I was originally gonna do like another, like not a stream, but a video today. It was gonna be like a little bit educational or something, but I didn't feel like doing a planned video today. So we're just gonna work on this piece that I'm already partway through. It features one of my Discord friends' characters, this one at the top here. So I'll maybe add a comment after the stream is uploaded to give them credit for their lovely lady up here. This little one at the bottom is just a filler character, and then this guy, obviously, once I start coloring him, you might recognize him. He's been on my channel before. This is Meadowson. The roleplay group recently had an event where some coyotes were killing a bunch of cats, and it was really sad and horrible. And they made a reappearance at the place where the medicine cats were gathered, and so I just thought it would make a cool scene to draw. Because obviously, most of the medicine cats, unless they chose being a medicine cat later in life or were forced into it, don't have any warrior training and were suddenly faced with these creatures that had murdered many of their trained clanmates. So that was pretty terrifying. And then some shenanigans resulted afterwards, involving a couple of medicine cats, perhaps maybe taking shelter with some clanmates, and the heat of the moment got to some of them, and they may or may not be having babies. So. Yeah, so yeah, shenanigans happened in it, but anyways, I just wanted to draw the scene out because I thought it would be fun. So we're just gonna work on that. As you can see, I've got all the red here because I finally figured out how to do that thing where you color in where you want all the color to go and then like basically lock it in so that color can only go in that area. And oh
Is that what a layer mask
my god,
is?
it was life-saving. I think that's what it's called in Photoshop, or what the general method of doing that is referred to, but that's not how you do it here. If anybody wants to know, I will give you the quickest tutorial. So you've got like your circle here. Oh, I want it way bigger than that. You've got a circle, and you're like, oh, I want to change the color of my lines. Well, okay, that is on a new layer. I got worried for a second. So you're like, oh, I want to change this to like say an orange circle. Sorry, my husband's just falling over.
I did not. I would never fall over.
So the way that you do that is you go to the layer that you want to change the color of, and you click this up here, the preserve opacity, however you say it, This is more yellow than orange, but anyways, here we go. And then you can just boop, and it only colors where those lines are. Alternately, if you wanted to just color inside of that, you can create a layer underneath that. Let's make it green. So you color inside the lines, and then you're like, oh, now I colored outside the line. Well, you just go through with your eraser, and you just erase where you don't want the color to go. And then you can just preserve the opacity on the color layer, and then you're like, let's make it pink instead. Why did that not go pink? Oh, because that's the eraser, my bad. It also lets you only erase in there too. So then it's like, oh, it's pink. So if you wanted to do like some cool, say you've got like I find this really useful for like tabby stripes and stuff. If you're like, oh, I need to draw stripes on a cat, but I don't want to go outside the lines, you can just, and look at that, and you can just get in there and draw some nice little stripy stripes.
That's cool.
Da-da! So that, I have been doing that, using that, like not, how come that's on this layer now? Alright,
You might want to undo a little
technical no, I can just erase it because it's not touching anything. So that's been massively useful to me over the past several days. I've been using it a lot, and I'm really glad that I finally figured out, oh, hey, one of my Discord friends is here. Hi.
Hello.
You should recognize kind of this scene, in case you didn't hear before, because I don't know what point you got here at. This is the coyotes attacking the medicine cats, which is so mean. So let's color things that I awesome. So let's color things I don't need a reference for first, because I'm gonna want to use my phone for a reference, so I'll have to leave chat temporarily. So we'll color the coyote first. There we go. No, wrong layer. There we go. See, look at it, and you can just go like this.
See, that's why people think I'm crazy, because I do one layer.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can do that, and I think that requires a particular kind of skill all on its own. But this just makes it so much easier. Like, and a lot of people also color their line art too. So like, like here, like if you wanted to color it something adjacent to the color you're using, so that it looks, dang it, so that it looks a little softer, you could do like that, and it kind of makes your line art a little bit less harsh. So a lot of people that I know do that too.
Interesting.
Yeah, so you can like soften certain areas of color, and it just, because I really like line art, so I like mine being harsher, but
I would say it's cool how your panels are becoming a little more dynamic with the characters kind of popping out of the panes.
Yeah, well, because
I kind of want the Snoop to pop out of the pane too.
That would be, actually, that's not a bad idea. I could do that after. But yeah, because I was thinking like it's all from Meadowson's perspective. So he's outside of the panel, and then each of these is like a view of something that he's seeing going on simultaneously. So his friend and former apprentice is like running away in fear, and he doesn't know where she's going. He's got a coyote snapping in front of him, and he also sees like another one of his clanmates being cornered by another one. And so he's
Wait, so
supposed to be
like
like
this
super.
guy is not inside of this bottom panel?
No, he's gonna be on top, which afterwards I'm graying these out a little bit, so it'll differentiate that from him. I just haven't gotten there yet. But I did
you also do like a harsher border around him, and that would also like pop him out?
Yeah,
I don't know.
and I could also color all of their line art and leave his black, so it would stand out more too. I can play around with that after, but I gotta do the main colors first.
See, with digital art, it looks like comics would be kind of fun to do because it'd be pretty easy.
That's why I'm gonna redo the comic digitally, yeah.
But I also am starting to see why you have people who will do like the line art and all that stuff, and then someone else would color it.
I would line art everything for everybody. That's my favorite part, and they can color it.
If we had a 3-person team, I could sketch. You could fix that sketch and then line art.
Fix that sketch.
And then someone could color.
See, this is what I also really love about this like layer masking method, is you can use gradients without your, because if you use a solid color and it goes outside the lines, it's really easy to see where you need to erase. But when it's a fade, you can sometimes forget to erase pieces of the fade because it's hard to see. But then when you add like a background, you can see it in over top, so then you have to like go in and fix it. So this is really nice for that too. Let's make his face a little bit darker too. This coyote, it doesn't have any particular design. It's just gonna be like a random coyote-esque type.
Oh, okay. So I was gonna
Thing.
ask, aren't coyotes usually like a like tan?
Yes.
Are you
Fine.
saying yes as in you realize what I'm saying is true, or that?
Yes, as in I'm fixing it now. But also,
Oh, you probably have black coyotes
well, and
or
this is
darker
also
coyotes.
it's a semi-realistic.
Psh, not full realism, just for one panel.
No, no.
The characters are all crazy, but when you actually see inside their mind, everything's hyper realistic.
Oh no.
That'd be actually an interesting comic style.
It is,
Be really
and
interesting
you
to
were
me.
being distracted from your
I'm
job.
sorry.
All right.
I just need to get my 4 hours in, or 2 hours rather, because of all the shit I did yesterday. Oops. Bleep that out.
If this video was monetized, you would have ruined it for me.
Well, you could bleep it out with editing because you could throw it into like an online editor.
No, I'm letting the world see your shame. That's what you get. You come onto my stream, and then you do this.
Mm-hmm. What kind of husband would I be if I didn't harass you in every aspect of your life?
Yeah, exactly. All right. I no longer have the reference up for this, so hopefully I can remember what, like, I'm a little bit confused about this situation, so we may just, oh, you know what? Okay, here's what we're gonna do. We'll what?
Oh, my Latin jazz funk ended.
That's so sad.
It was really weird, but
Alright.
it also has like 6 million views, so a lot of people didn't think so.
Alright, so if we do this, I can close off the gums there, and then we can just pretend this is all black, and that'll make my life easier when I color it, so that's what we're gonna do. It's also really warm in here. Yeah, so I was gonna say just quickly, I don't know how often I'll talk in this video because I still find it a little bit hard to talk and draw at the same time. But I was just going to apologize for it being a while since I uploaded a video, but my husband and I both had our wisdom teeth taken out recently, and we both had complications, which resulted in especially me having a really, really rough time.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a combination of like just wanting to, obviously not being able to talk and whatnot, and then also just taking a little break after I recovered, just to enjoy being recovered. Because as I mentioned on the channel before, I have some stomach issues, and so some of the pain medication that they gave me, because I cannot take Advil, ended up also reacting badly with my stomach. So I won't go into any more graphic detail than that, but and then I ended up also getting a dry socket and just swelling up like a balloon. So and not to scare anybody who needs to get their wisdom teeth taken out still, that was just one of my teeth that was really, really close to a nerve, and that's why I had that issue. My other two that I had taken out, because I only had three, my other two that I had taken out, I honestly barely even felt them. Like, the dentists did a fantastic job. It was just that one. And then the bad reaction to the medication that made the experience bad. If it wasn't for that one tooth, it would have been just like having a loose tooth kind of pain for a little while, and then I would have been fine.
Well, that was my situation too, right? I had the one tooth that was bothering me, but the other three felt fine. I barely even noticed them. Which can be dangerous because then you want to eat a lot of stuff right away.
Yeah, that was the other thing too,
Um,
is we're big babies, I guess, and we really, especially me, did not want to eat the soft foods the whole
well, it's
time.
not fun. We cook a lot, so
Yeah.
it's just boring when it's like, here's chicken soup again.
Well, and then
Not even chicken broth.
well, and then all the soft foods we had bought to eat, like pudding and soups and stuff, I had eaten
Yeah.
before, my stomach got ill, so then afterwards I was kind of like grossed out by them because I'd eaten them before that happened, so it kind of really limited my options in terms of what I could eat after that. So, but but yeah, most cases if you're gonna get your wisdom teeth out are gonna be like my two that were totally normal. It barely hurt, and we did it while we did like conscious sedation, so we were awake, and it was no big deal at all. That was actually the easiest part, I think, of getting our wisdom teeth taken out was the actual getting them taken out part. All right. Do do. So yeah. Anyways, that's why I didn't upload any videos for a while. Um, but I was feeling bad about not uploading anything, so I was like, yeah, well, at least some of my friends from the roleplay will probably join in, and they'll recognize the character or the scene, so that would be fun. And also just because I want to do more warriors related drawings on here. And then I was thinking for my next video, I will probably do like another informative breakdown of like how I tackle anatomy. So I'll pull up like some cats and some different wacky poses and show how I break it down, which like I'm not an expert, but I have been slowly improving in that area. So I figured I could show what I've been doing to try and get better at anatomy. And it'll be good practice for me too to just do some anatomy drawings that I may or may not end up finishing. It's so funny when sometimes when I watch other artists stream, I see them like redo the same line like this. They'll like do a line and like this, and they'll do it, and they'll like no, and then they're like no, because it needs to be perfect. And I'm always like, no, it was fine the first time. But then sometimes when I'm drawing, I do the same thing. If anybody wants some fun and slightly educational drawing videos to watch and you don't, would highly recommend you watch Drawfee, like Drawfee. It's a mix of like a comedy show, like friends hanging out, and then it's also always a drawing thing. So like these really good artists. Um, there's usually four of them, but sometimes not all of them are there, and sometimes they have guests and things. But anyways, they take drawing prompts, like crazy things like draw yourself as Greek gods, or draw um, yourself in the style of your favorite anime, or draw the animal persona of um, a certain character or something, and they all do it, and they either do it live, not like live, although they do stream on Twitch as well under the same name, but and then that's live, but what I mean is like they'll either record themselves drawing the whole thing at normal speed and talking while they do it. That's what I meant by live. Or they'll do it in like speed draw format where they take a couple hours to do like a finished piece, and then they'll just play it for you and talk over top about what they did and the choices they made artistically, as well as just like funny stuff. And it's both hilarious because they're all really funny, and it's also educational because I find at least one of the best ways to get better at drawing, aside from actually drawing, is just watching people who have a better grasp of something than you do draw the thing, because you can pick up like little bits of like, oh, I like that they do this way, so I'll incorporate that into my style. And then you watch someone else and you're like, oh, I like the way they do this, so I'll incorporate that into my style. one of their really cool streams that I just watched because they also re-upload their Twitch streams to YouTube was one of the members, Karina, and one of the other members, Nathan, did like an educational how to animate video, and it was Karina teaching and then Nathan kind of just being there for company, and he ends up trying out the technique at the end. And it was actually really helpful. I haven't animated in a long time, and I never really thought about approaching it the way that Karina does in the video, so I definitely want to try that in the future because that looked like that would be a really smart way to go about it. So they do have some educational stuff like that. Um, ooh, they also have a Patreon too that you can subscribe to if you want to like um, make more suggestions about videos or get access to their streams. Like um, I don't know if it's just Patrons that get the stream when it's actually live or if it's everybody, but like Patrons get special bonus things because I'm not on their Patreon, so I'm not sure. But you do get some bonuses. They have like merch and stuff too. Yeah, anyways, it's really good if you want to laugh and you want to learn about some art at the same time. I use it a lot when I have migraines because I'm stuck in bed, but I want to listen to something while I'm stuck in bed because otherwise it's extremely boring. So I'll often put YouTube videos on. One of the ones that I do if I'm feeling well enough to actually look at a screen periodically is Drawfee. Or even if I'm not feeling well enough to look at the screen, I'll sometimes just replay their old ones. Because then I already know what the drawings are about, so I don't need that context to know what they're talking about, so I can just listen. Hey, hun, would you mind opening the... Oh, you have headphones in.
No,
Do you
sorry,
think...
what?
Would you mind opening the window a little bit? I'm
Nope.
roasting. Thank you.
That's because you're hot. There we go. Oh.
Flirting on my streams.
Sorry, it's who I am.
Yeah, it is winter here, but I'm in a fluffy sweater, and I'm buying...
And with a blanket.
And a
I'm all
blanket,
jealous.
and a pillow, and a warm computer. But you have to, at all times, be swaddled in a blanket. It doesn't matter if it's summer. It doesn't matter if it's hot.
Do you think they sell like light or like
I mean,
cooling weighted blankets so we could use those in the summer too? Or we'd have to wait till winter? Because I imagine a weighted blanket in the summer would be just death.
Not necessarily. It would depend on... Because the heaviness doesn't necessarily make it warmer, does it? If anybody has a weighted blanket, feel free to chime in on the answer
to that. Because there's a
that.
cover, right? But then each plate, or glass beads maybe, they would retain heat to some capacity.
I mean,
maybe
because it's weighted, it's probably gonna hold your own body heat in better because it's not lifting up to let fresh air in while you're moving. So I could see that being hotter.
Yeah.
But you could probably also change, like, because you could buy multiple covers to fit it. You could change to like a lighter, not fluffy cover in the warm months.
Or maybe make your own.
Yeah, some people make their own.
Because I mean, like in places like hotter places like Mexico, for example, or like in like westerns and stuff.
Southern United States.
Southern and western.
Anywhere that
like
is
Texas
warmer
and stuff,
than
right?
us.
They had like ponchos they would wear even during the sweltering heat that would keep them cooler. And you actually kind of see the same effect with knights and their they're not tabards, but the same idea where the cloth over their like chainmail and like plate and stuff actually created like a venting system.
Well, because at a certain point, if it's hot enough, covering up your skin so that it's not exposed to the sun actually provides like a measure of shade as long as it still lets fresh air in. So it would be kind of cooling, I think, as well as people who live in hot places consistently are more adapted to the heat. So, like, for example, when my Canadian sister left Canada in the winter, which is cold, and went to Vegas for a few weeks it was like spring weather for her there, but for the people who are normal residents of Vegas, they were like walking around in like winter boots and hats, and my sister was in like t-shirt and a tank top because if you're used to like bitterly cold winters, you'll get to somewhere like Vegas and be like, "Oh, wow, it's so warm." And meanwhile for them that's still their winter. So they're really cold, which is why I'm scared to ever visit somewhere that is consistently really hot because I already struggle with what is normal warm weather for Canada. So if I go somewhere like to visit our southern American friends, I will need air conditioning and very light clothing, probably a fan, and so much water because I will just be roasting. Probably um, be quite warm even in their winter because I don't think they get snow, depending on which southern state area we're talking about. I would much rather be too cold than too warm because I can always put on more layers, but you can only take off so many. And also, you can do things to warm up, like start jogging in place and doing some exercise or something. But the most you can really do to cool off is like try not to move too much and like splash water on yourself or something. Are you Googling my theory about being covered up providing more?
No, I'm googling AC/DC merch.
Ah, we're on two completely different wavelengths there.
Mm-hmm. They kind of zoned out a little bit.
That's fine.
Oh, but they do have a throw blanket, which I know you love blankets.
You can never have too many blankets.
Mm,
Never.
mm.
It's impossible. Oh, I was gonna say something and you distracted me with the blanket. Now I've completely forgotten.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, I knew it was almost lunchtime. I just started to feel hungry and I was like, it's probably about noon. It's okay though, we had a late breakfast. And we're making chicken tacos for dinner or lunch or somewhere in between there. Dinner. Dinner or okay, wait. Dinner is lunch and dinner, so it could also be dunch, or you can call it supper, and then it's leper or slunch. No,
I've only,
sunch.
oh no, I've only known of Linner, um, for lunch, dinner, and then there's one for breakfast and lunch.
Brunch.
Yeah, brunch. Okay.
Which is
Wow.
actually, I think, the most common used one. Like brunch is like you can go to restaurants for brunch. I don't think you can go to restaurants for dinner. I mean, you can physically go there, but they don't have like a special dinner menu or anything. Although that wouldn't be a bad idea. Just everything that's not a breakfast food on my menu is a dinner food. You can eat it for lunch or dinner. Also, I don't know why restaurants think it's a good idea to stop serving breakfast food at a certain time. Like, I get in terms of like the kitchen doesn't want to have to keep making that food and you have to buy the ingredients for it, but it's always an appropriate time to eat breakfast food. And I'm so disappointed when I go to a restaurant and I'm like, I'm gonna have pancakes or a breakfast sandwich or something, and then you see it on the menu, but then it's like doesn't serve after X time. And then it's after that time, and you're like, no. This is pretty cool. I was saying to my husband recently that I think my art has taken like a slight leap forward again. which I always really like to see. Like, anatomy has gotten a tiny bit better. My ability to draw like different poses has got a tiny bit better, and that's just because I've been consistently able to practice like regularly throughout the week for like 2 years now. 2.5, going on 2.5 years. But every once in a while it seems like it takes a little jump forward, and I always love to see that. It makes me very happy. And it also makes me less frustrated when I'm drawing, because then I'm like, woo, that thing that I was trying to draw, I actually was able to draw it. But I still got a long way to go. I was just looking at someone's art on Tumblr yesterday who also does warrior cats, and it was just so beautiful. It was like an instant mix of like admiration and like a little bit of misplaced jealousy, and just like a little bit like I wanted to cry, but not in like an I'm upset way, just like a it's so beautiful way. Their style's also very different than mine. I think mine's pretty cutesy, and theirs is like a little more rugged looking. Okay. Yeah. Nope. Wait, one more thing. But yeah, I just have to remind myself when I see art that I really like that I can get there one day if I just keep practicing and I keep working on stuff. Like recently, I've been trying to commit to every time I open up Sai to draw something, I try drawing at least one human, whether it's like just an anatomical sketch or like a portrait of a face or something, and I never finish it, but it's just to make myself practice it because I'm not good at drawing people, and I will never get good at drawing people if I don't draw people. So forcing myself to do the thing that I don't want to do for at least a little bit before or after I draw the thing that I am good at. Because with how much I'm drawing, if I do one human every time before or after, then I will eventually draw humans pretty often, which means I should start to improve. And they're not good yet at all, but they will get there. And I do want to get better at humans. Because I've always just been much better with animals. And I think that's just because, for some reason, my brain finds it a lot harder to see the shapes properly in like a human face or a human body, because they're just, my brain instantly is like, oh, person. Um, and I know how it's supposed to look, so that doesn't allow me to like just let the shapes tell me how it's supposed to look. Whereas when I'm drawing animals, I'm like, oh, I don't necessarily know what a sea otter's leg should look at upside down, bent in a 3/4 view, so I just do what the reference shows me, and then you're like, oh, okay, yeah, that looks right. But when I'm drawing a human, I'm like, oh, if I draw it that way, even though that's the way the reference has it, it's gonna look weird. Or I'm like, oh, you know, maybe like my brain tries to edit it to be more like aesthetically pleasing or something. I don't know. But I want to get better at them. So I'm making myself practice. Although I failed miserably at that actually. The last 2 times I totally forgot to do that. But I had a lot of references to redo. So I'll forgive myself this time. Just maybe I'll have to do 2 humans next time to make up for it or something. Let's give her spooky orange eyes. Yeah. kind of wish I'd drawn her snarling too, because she sort of looks like she's just gonna make friends with the cat that's there. But that's okay. Okay, so I know a couple of you are in here. It says 2 of you still are. If anybody else has any questions or ooh, excuse me, anything else they'd like me to talk about while I'm doing this, I'm pretty open. I didn't have any things specifically planned to talk about while I did this today. So if you want to ask me for like tips, or you want to just ask me random trivia about my life, or talk about the roleplay, especially if there's anybody watching that isn't in it, because I think all my viewers right now are in it. But anyways, just anything, let me know. I've got time. Oops. My tablet does this weird glitch sometimes, and I don't even know if it's a glitch. I think sometimes it's just my hand hitting it, and it scrolls away on me. It's very annoying. I've got on my Christmas list one of those tablet gloves, which I think will help with that problem. It does this too. I just recently set up all the hotkeys on my tablet to actually do things that would be useful to me, and I still never use them. Okay. Alright. And then this is just gonna be a random NPC cat. So I'm just gonna do whatever colors I feel like. Let's do like a kind of an orangey tabby. I think that's what I'm in the mood for. Ooh, but not that color. Yes, that's better. Ooh, okay, my favorite characters of mine right now. So one of them, I was actually just thinking about this morning, so that's funny that you asked. So Meadowson is one of my favorite ones. Actually, both of the 2 favorites that I'll mention are my 2 oldest characters right now. It's Meadowson and sootpaw, and I think part of what makes them both so fun for me to write is that they've been around for so long, so they have so much history in terms of like with other characters or with the other clans. Um, so it gives me a lot of context to draw on when writing them, and so that makes them really fun. So I talked a bit about Meadowson in another video, so I won't go like too in depth in him, but he's WindClan's medicine cat, which I know you know, but I'm just gonna explain it for people who might watch the video later. So Meadowson is WindClan's medicine cat. He originally trained to be a warrior under WindClan's deputy, or not deputy, I think he was leader at the time. Was he? No, he might have not even. He was either Lion Pelt or Lion Star at the time, but he ended up becoming WindClan's deputy, and then later, if he wasn't then. Um, so he started training under him, and he was horrible. He was just so bad at it, and it made him really sad. And so both his mentor, who was Lion Pelt or Star, and WindClan's medicine cat at the time, Ice Shadow, were like, hey, since you suck really, really bad, they were much nicer about it, but essentially, since you suck really bad at this, what do you think about maybe becoming a medicine cat? And at first, he was really sad about it. He was like, well, I guess I should serve my clan somehow, so since I suck really, really bad at being a warrior, sure, I will try this medicine cat thing. And it turned out he actually ended up really liking it, and so Meadowson really loves being a medicine cat. Oh my gosh, my dad's calling me. Not now, father. I'll talk to him later. Um, but yeah, so he ended up really liking being WindClan's medicine cat. He got a lot of joy out of it. He was, oh my gosh, don't call more times. He was actually really good at it. And yeah, now he trained his own apprentice, who he really cares a lot about too. He was in love with RiverClan's medicine cat. Stop this. Okay, I'm silencing it. He also fell in love with RiverClan's medicine cat. It was never fully established whether or not the feelings were reciprocated, but I suspect they would have been, if not for her untimely death. Um, so he did have feelings for her, but he also knew that he would never abandon his responsibilities to his clan as a medicine cat just because he loved her, so he never told her of his feelings because nothing would come out of it anyways because he wouldn't leave his clan. And then she died and he never got to tell her, so he felt really sad. Thank you. Sorry. Water. So that was a very sad point for him. Um, he lost both of his mentors. They died. He lost all of his siblings, all three of his parents, because he was born um, to the old leader of WindClan, Lycanstar, and his mate, and they were in like a polyamorous relationship. So he had like two mothers, one biological mother and one like um, metaphorical mother, I suppose you'd call it. Um, and he lost all three of them, and so he's lost a lot of family members, so he's got like this really deeply ingrained fear that he doesn't fully realize that those that he cares about will just die. Like, um, just like the RiverClan medicine cat did because he cared about her. So now he's in love with someone else, but he hasn't told them, even though it's really obvious to everyone around them. He hasn't told his new love interest that he loves them because deep down he's worried that if he voices it, that his love interest will just die. I don't like that. I'm getting rid of that stripe. I'd like it like that though. So he's just really fun to play because he's been around for so long. He's got like these really good ingrained fears that were built kind of organically through the roleplay. I didn't write them into him. Um, and I also just really love his design. He's really pretty. Um, he's a calico male, so he's infertile, which adds an interesting layer as well to the medicine cat thing in terms of he can have a mate, and there'll never be a risk of a fatherhood on his end resulting from that because he's infertile anyway. So it's like, is it really wrong for him to have a mate? And now his current love interest is also a Tom, so that doesn't really even come into play at all. Um, but yeah, so he's really interesting. And then the other one is someone that hasn't been on the channel yet. So, but I've been wanting to put him in, and I probably will at some point, is Sootpaw, who is one of the first, I believe it was 3 characters that I made for the roleplay when the roleplay was created. So Sootpaw actually started out as an apprentice right when the roleplay was initially created by me and a friend of mine. And he's also, again, just has a lot of personality that was built organically through the roleplay. So I may not remember the names of all of the characters that are in a story because it was a really long time ago, but essentially, I believe it was it Greystar? I want to say Greystar, but that might be wrong. But the leader of Shadow Clan at the time was Sootpaw's mentor, and Sootpaw's always been very kind of grumpy and egotistical, um, and so he really kind of like enjoyed the fact that he was um, the leader's apprentice. It's kind of like a status symbol. Um, sorry, I just have to find my reference for him. I have all my characters organized really nicely. Yeah, so he took that as a status symbol up until the point where the Shadow Clan leader ended up falling in love with and impregnating the Thunder Clan deputy, and then moving her into Shadow Clan as Shadow Clan's new deputy, where she would also have her babies. And Sootfall is not a fan of cats outside of Shadow Clan in very typical Shadow Clan fashion. So he was not at all happy about this. Um, and so he kind of ended up revolting against his mentor and saying, like, I don't want to be your apprentice anymore. So he was reapprenticed. Um, Eventually he got his warrior name, and he ended up mentoring one of the new Shadow Clan's deputies, Kits, who he did actually end up growing pretty close to, despite him technically having Thunder Clan blood. And they ended up seeing that Grey Star was not what was best for the clan anymore, and they approached him on it, and he stepped down, gave his 9 lives back, and there was a new leader chosen for Shadow Clan, who ended up choosing Sootfall as his deputy. So yes, everyone who's in the roleplay, Sootfall was once in line to be leader of the clan. Also, when he was an apprentice, he was in a battle at the River Clan border, um, in which the River Clan's leader at the time, it was a bird name, I think. This is so long ago, I'm struggling to remember everybody's names. I want to say, like, Hawkstar or something along those lines. So we'll just say Hawkstar. That might not be 100% correct, but Hawkstar was there with his River Clan patrol on the border with Shadow Clan. Words were said, and they decided to throw down, and poor little apprentice Sootfall ended up facing the River Clan leader and all of his 9 lives, and so that's where Sootfall got the scars on his eyes, for anybody who didn't know that either. Um, Sootfall nearly lost an eye in his battle with the River Clan leader. He thought he was going blind, so he had this really terrible freak out where he thought he'd lost an eye for a while because he couldn't see. He didn't end up losing his eye, but he does have sort of like a scar that sort of messes with his vision on that side, but it's rarely even mentioned anymore because at this point he's grown accustomed to it, so he barely notices it. So that's where he got his first scars. So fast forward again to when he is named deputy. All of Sipfall's personality is based around doing what he thinks is best for the clan, um, which he is sometimes very misguided about. So he's done some not nice things, but he's done it with the intention of helping his clan. So like when he was deputy, he met up with at the time, the leader of Sky Clan, and words were said, and Sootfall misinterpreted something he said as a threat against Shadow Clan, so he attacked and partially murdered because he took one of the lives. He killed Mountain Star and used up one of his lives. So if it was not the leader, it would have been a murder, um, because he thought that he had threatened Shadow Clan. So he's like, oh well, I'll just eliminate this threat right here, right now, then, which was not cool. And that's what actually ended up losing Sootfall his deputyship, because the current leader at the time of Shadow Clan and also different members of the clan were kind of like, ooh, that wasn't, oops, that's not what I meant to do. Oops, that was a not good thing you did, and we don't think that makes us look good to the other clans, and we also think that that maybe means you're not leader material. So that's how he lost his shot at being deputy. Also, while all of this was going on, he picked on my other character, Cloudbelly, a whole lot initially, because Cloudbelly was an incredibly happy-go-lucky, squishy, friendly dude, and initially Sitfault kind of resented him for that. But they eventually figured out that it was because Sitfault was actually in love with Cloudbelly, and so the reason why he resented it is because he resented the fact that he loved someone who was so soft and squishy, and he was trying to kind of bully Cloudbelly out of that behavior. But when Cloudbelly called him out on it, he apologized and admitted his feelings, and they did end up being mates for a while. I think Sitfall actually ended up being polyamorous for a little while too, because I believe he ended up being mates with both Shadestar and Cloudbelly at the same time for a little bit. Not 100% sure on that, but it didn't last anyways because Sootfall, while very sweet to Cloudbelly, continued to kind of treat others like badly. And Cloudbelly was basically like, smarten up and stop being mean to everybody, or else I can't stay with you. Because it's not enough that you're just nice to me. You need to actually like be a nice person. Um, and Sootfall um, couldn't change his bad ways, so Cloudbelly basically ended up being like, you know what, I still care about you, but I'm not going to be involved in a relationship with someone who's a jerk, so he dumped him. Which made Sitfall very sad. And then Sitfall ended up being just with Shadestar until Shadestar passed away. Um, Now Sitfall is in a relationship with a Molly in Shadow Clan named Brindleleaf, but theirs is more of a political relationship. Because Sitfall had kids. I forgot to mention this before too. He had babies with a Molly named Heavystep because they both wanted babies, but both like the same sex, so they kind of entered an agreement together that they would help each other out with that. And his babies didn't end up living for very long except for one. So he had Snakepaw, who ended up being extremely power hungry, even worse than her father, but she didn't even have the good intentions that he did, where he did all of his bad things because he thought they were serving the clan. She just did bad things because she wanted to and because she craved power and all that stuff. So she ended up dying after she tried to attack her mentor. Um, and then Roachpaw, I forget how Roachpaw died, but Roachpaw died, who was his other daughter. And then Wormpaw ended up living, but he was exactly the opposite of everything Sootfall wanted in a child, because Wormsprout was he was a super big mama's boy, he was super sweet, super loving. He actually ended up forming kind of a parent relationship with Cloudbelly because of their similarities. So Sootfall sort of kind of ended up disowning his son, who then went on to become a loner slash kitty pet and having his own babies. So Sootfall super disowned him. His son ended up being named Wormsprout before he left the clan. So he now has several beautiful kittens who live with their mother outside of the clans, although one might be making his way towards the clans, I think. Ooh. Anyways, back to Sootfall. So he didn't have a successful first attempt at babies, so now him and Brindleleaf, who both wanted more babies, have become sort of an arranged marriage, but a happy one. They both have very similar views on the world, on the clan, child rearing, all of that. And they just had one kit together, who was named Hazelpaw at the time. She's got her warrior name now, but Sootfall's much happier with this attempt at having children. He's very proud of their daughter, and he's very happy with Brindleleaf, despite, it being a political marriage. They do genuinely care for each other by this point, even if it's not necessarily in a romantic love way. And that's where he is now. That's where he is currently. That's where he came from. And so, again, he's really fun to write because he's got all this really interesting history and ties to different clans and stuff that just happened organically through the role play. So it gives me a lot to draw on when I'm trying to figure out how he would react to different situations. A lot of my other characters that are in there right now are a lot younger, so they're a little more work to write, and I'm not as strongly attached to them because they haven't been around for so long. But there's definitely some of them that I'm getting more attached to as time goes on, or I'm really excited to see where they go, or I have plans for them. How many am I up to right now? Let's see, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I think I'm up to 11 characters right now. So that gives me a lot of time to develop new storylines and things. Any more questions? Oh, I just dropped that color and then tried to change it. Silly me. My favorite characters in general that are not mine right now would probably be, I really enjoy Frostlight, who is Meadowson's apprentice, and Larkstar, who are both played by the same person. They both, either based on their connections with my cats or their personalities, are really fun. We have a really fun relationship developing between one of my Sky Clan cats and another Sky Clan cat named Morning Fang, and she's super like hyper and excitable, and he's like the complete opposite, so they're really fun to write together. There's also some Fang cats, which is like an organized rogue group in the roleplay that I really like. There's just so many good cats. So many good writers in general in the group. Good writers and good artists. It's a really fun group. I've never actually drawn, like if you look at his reference, he's faced the same side the whole time, so I've never actually decided what the spots look like on his other side. So I guess for over here, I'll just wing it. Come up with something on the fly. Let's just give him a little orange spot, maybe right here. I guess I'll eventually have to show his other side since he's not symmetrical like a lot of my characters are. People will need to know if they're ever going to draw him from the other side. I'd also be interested to see just like other people's ideas for his other side, although I kind of figured that his other side would be like a little bit more plain, like on his hip and stuff, where he has like all these patterns here. I think his other one would maybe just have like 2 dark splotches, maybe here, or maybe one on his leg and no orange on the other side or something, just to kind of switch it up. And he's more orange on this side of his face, so having it be more black on that side of his body would kind of balance that out a little bit. I don't know though. Meadowson's also changed a ton since he was younger. He was really like awkward and nervous and unskilled, and now he's still got some of his awkwardness and things, but in terms of his profession, he's very skilled and knowledgeable and confident about, you know, he knows his stuff in terms of healing. He's been around for a while. I think he's one of the oldest medicine cats in the roleplay in terms of having been a medicine cat. Like there's some that are actually older age-wise than him because didn't um they didn't end up becoming medicine cats till they were a lot older, but he's the oldest in terms of actual years practicing healing. So that's kind of fun. Alright, so now that I'm done that, I have to decide what I'm gonna do for the backgrounds, which I figured for everything outside of Meadowson, kind of like I was talking to my husband about earlier, I'm gonna gray everything out just slightly so you can tell that he's supposed to be at the foreground. So let's do that. Okay, good, that is on a top layer. I got scared for a second that I was just coloring everything over. And then I gotta come up with some sort of background. I hate doing backgrounds, though it's my least favorite part of doing drawings. I need a background artist. When I restart my comic, I've been joking with my husband that he should be my background artist because he really likes to do like more technical type drawings. And he has like really good attention to detail. And I hate the backgrounds. So I was like, just do all my background sketches for me so I don't have to think up ideas for backgrounds and stuff. And we work pretty good together. We like to draw together, and he'll usually do the sketch and then I'll clean stuff up and color it. The line arting is still the best. It's my favorite. I don't know why. It just makes me so happy. And sometimes I feel like my line art and like my sketches look better than the finished product. Sometimes something about adding color just like changes it a lot and it doesn't look as nice. So I like the stage where I'm like, oh, it looks so nice. Not that everything I draw gets worse when I add color. Nope. And I could zoom in, but I don't want to. So I'm just doing my best to do it from a distance. I luckily have pretty good eyes, so I can typically see fairly well when I missed something. Okay. There we go. What happens if I... Yes, there we go. Alright. Is it cheating if I just do like really stupid backgrounds? Okay, well I know what I'm gonna do for this one, I think. So we'll do this one first. What I need to do is, I've been trying to like find some good, what do you call them? Like foliage brushes or like background brushes to use, but I can't figure out how to download them, even though I've looked at tutorials and stuff. And then I also would like to try making some so I can use them when I do. Oh, it's because it's the same color. So that when I do backgrounds and stuff, I can just use nice foliage brushes, not have to do everything by hand. Alright. Now we're zooming in because I gotta do grass. I think I was gonna say earlier, if anybody has any suggestions of videos they'd like to see in the future, either done over stream or like a pre-recorded one, like any topics, like if there's a thing I do you want to learn how to do, or you want to see me struggle to work on things I'm not good at, talk about how I tackled that, or if you want to see something like a request stream, or if you want to give me like a weird challenge to try and do. I'm pretty open to what you guys want to see. Alright, running away through the grass. That'll work. This one I think I can just make really dynamic. It doesn't have to be super colorful because it can be like a dramatic close-up shot. So I think what I'll do is something like this. Especially since they were some of them were in the cave at this point too, it makes sense if the one that was actually sniffing at him is kind of in the dark a little bit. How big is this? Okay. We'll go like this. Alright, cool. And I guess since this is happening at the same time, these should have similar colors of sky for continuity, so that makes my choices really easy here. I'm gonna get some more grass in here so that they're not standing on nothing. Ooh. Let's go a little bit darker than that. Yeah, that way it actually shows up a bit. Then we'll zoom way in and oh, very close, and make that actually look like grass. Um, After I've done this grass here, I think I'm probably gonna consider this piece done. So if anybody has any maybe requests they want drawn after this, if you're in the Discord, feel free to like DM me if there's a character or something you want to request, so you don't have to share it in the chat, and also it's easier for me. And then if you're not in the Discord and you'd maybe like a request, you can totally send it in the comments or something, and I'll look at that when I've done this grass. And then I'll maybe draw for a little bit longer when this is done on the stream, depending on if anybody wants anything. And then I'll maybe call it an end to the stream.
So you're gonna drop a little bit longer after the stream?
Yeah, well, we'll see what we're doing. I said I'm gonna finish this drawing, maybe take a couple quick requests things if anybody in the chat has them, and then I'll end the stream. Whether or not I draw after that, we can decide that afterwards. But alright, let's see. Alright, and then we'll just do a bit of foreground grass. Oops, how did that get darker? That's not what I wanted. Oh, and also I wanted up here. Yeah. There. Oh, that's very bright. That'll be okay. I will be right back. I just gotta take care of something real quick, and then I should be right back. Alright, and I've returned. Sorry about that. I am just going to get myself back into my chair and we'll finish this up. And so far I haven't gotten any requests to do anything after. So I might just doodle. Do you have a lot of work left?
For me.
An hour? Okay, so I might still doodle around on stream a little bit. We'll see. We will see. That, or I may stop the stream and just focus on drawing. But I gotta finish this first. That doesn't look like the right size brush. Yeah, here we go. See, honey, how I grayed out the background stuff? Does that look...
Oh, yeah.
Okay, cool. Oh, I forgot to get rid of the BRB. I don't want that there. Be gone. BRB gone. Okay. Then I just have to do a tiny bit more grass here. But I do want to still do it in this color. Okay. It's very dry in my house. I apologize for the coughing and whatnot. Alright, everybody watching? Oh, maybe I should shade Meadowson a little bit before I'm done. Yeah, I'll do that really, really quick. And then if there's anything that anybody wants to see, now's a good time. If not, I'm just gonna probably end the stream when I'm done here. Let's do color actually. There we go. Yeah, alright. Just gonna do a little bit of shading. Very soft shading. I'd like to get better at cell shading. I just can't seem to get the hang of it, but maybe one day. I get like the concept behind how you're supposed to do it, but for some reason, whenever I try to, it just doesn't seem to work out. Sorry, I'm being very quiet. I'm just very focused.
Concentration of a master.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Do I shade the background? Do I do it? Do I shade the background too? No, I think I'm gonna leave it because I want him to be the most dynamic thing on there. The most, not dynamic, like the most bright, so it draws your eye to him first. But what I will do is make this just up the creepy factor just a little bit. Is we will give this guy some glowing eyes. There we go. All right. All right, everybody. I'll just do one last check for anybody who had any requests or anything for me to do before the stream ends. And I don't see anything, so I guess I'll call this stream an end then. Thanks for joining me while I finished drawing this. It was really nice to have company, especially to help me think of things to talk about. And hopefully we'll see you guys again soon for another stream. Alrighty. And